Aloha, everyone. Welcome. Thank you for being here. Rare moment. There's more people online than in person. That's kind of a cool. Anyway, it's just fun. Um, we have lots of trainings happening right now, and that's what inspired class today. In our upper level training, we were looking at hydrating the tissues and massage. So I wanted to incorporate some extra massage and rolling things in class. And then for the level 1 training, I was really excited to bring more interoception, awakening awareness, so that everything that we do, even if we're not literally massaging, each movement is almost like massage, where we can feel that kind of pressure and that sensation and hopefully that enjoyment that comes from massage, but through all of our movements today. So with that, we can begin. We'll be reclining. If you want to turn over to the right. And the only prop you need today is a blanket, unless something spontaneous occurs. And it can be off to the side for now. Gently melt your way down onto your back. And if it feels comfortable, you can close your eyes. And Takayo and Shivo, you're the opposite way, which might get confusing later, but whatever's comfortable for you is totally fine. And the legs can be stretched out or knees can be knocked in. And let's just start with some breathing. Try to breathe into the back of the rib cage, just creating a little bit of space between each rib. And then letting go completely on the exhale, just emptying out. Feeling that dissolving or melting sensation of the exhale. Satyam did this on his philosophy yoga a few weeks ago, and it was my favorite thing ever. We're going to start with some face massaging. So start by just bringing the hands over the eyes and notice that sense of being engulfed in darkness, and let it be soothing and relaxing. And just notice if anything changes in your other senses when you do that. Maybe noises become a little louder. Maybe you can just feel your breath a little closer. And gently start to graze the face with the fingertips, just the feather light touch, almost tickly, but just that really gentle sensation where you're feeling the fingertips with the face. And then bring the thumbs just inside the eyebrows, gentle pressure in the space between the eyebrows. And start to walk the fingertips along the eyebrow ridge from the inside to the outside. Some people carry more tension above the eyebrows, some people below the eyebrows, some more on the inside, some more on the outside. So we're going to take a few moments for everyone to explore and find the space that's most interesting and useful to you. And I recommend trying some different pressure. So, hi Rebecca, so good to see you, yay. So try a little bit lighter pressure if you notice that you're just kind of laying into yourself a little bit. And there's no right or wrong, but it's good to experiment. And then let's all bring our fingertips outside of the eyebrows and start to circle the weight on the temples. And I like to almost stick my fingers to one spot, and then as you draw circles, it pulls and tractions the skin. So instead of just letting the fingertips slide around, they stay in one spot. Hi, welcome. And then try different widths. So you might like having just a couple fingers, a tinier spot, or all of your fingers so that you're getting a bigger spot of the temple, or even going into the hairline a little bit. And then if you're just loving that, because I feel like a lot of us hold a lot of tension in the temporalis muscle, you can stay there as long as you want. You're also welcome to start exploring the scalp a little bit. And I like to do the scalp the same way, where the fingertips are glued to one spot, and then I just circle, almost like just circling through the elbows, dragging the fingertips over the hair follicles. And anywhere is fair game. See if you can find an interesting spot in the scalp, or anywhere else. If you're guided somewhere else, that's fine. And then notice how easy it is to feel sensation as you're giving yourself a massage. It's almost like obvious, like here it is, pressure right here. I feel it, it feels good. And even though it might be easy in this exercise, this is still the quality of interoception, your ability to feel what's going on inside. And so try to remember this experience of having such a rich sensation. We'll see if we can wake that up with our whole body now. So you can flick out the fingers. Imagine just like shooting out or releasing all of the accumulated tension from those facial muscles. And then keep your arms overhead and take a nice stretch, reaching the legs out if they're not already. If you're following along with the playlist, you can hit play on the first track. And then we'll start to drag the right heel in, just the right heel, and try to feel the massage on the right heel as it glides on the yoga mat. And do that a couple of times, feeling a little bit of friction, maybe even noticing the texture of your heel skin. It's a lot thicker than the texture of your face skin. The next time the heel drags in, gently press down into the right foot. Oh, and sorry, you can go to the second track, actually. The first track was like our chill opening. So gently start to press into the right foot. And as you do that, notice how the right hip starts to lift, and then release that action so the hip comes back down. And we're going to do this many, many, many times. So each time, press into the foot, let the hip lift, start to roll towards the left side, but then back up, releasing completely, coming back onto the back. And as you continue on your own, imagine first you're giving the sole of your foot a little massage, and then you're giving the space of the ankle and the calf, even the knee, a little massage. So even though you're not literally taking your fingers and pressing these areas, just the pushing and the lifting and the rolling all the way on to the side is starting to awaken sensation in the whole body. I like doing this gradually and incrementally because each time you get a little smoother. And Steffi, you might want to reach your left leg out so that when you push into your right leg, you can actually start to roll a little bit more. But whatever's comfortable, anything's fair game. These are just ideas and suggestions. Roseanne, your iPad is tracking you, so I can see you. I can see you doing yoga. This is so exciting. There's your face. And the next time you press into the right foot, if it feels right for you, Roseanne, Mala came over. I think she knows that I'm talking to you, and she got excited. Yeah. So land on your left side. Bring your hi, Mala. Bring your right hand in front of you. I think Mala is giving you kisses right now, Roseanne, via me as a vehicle, because she's never done this before. She's so excited. If you don't know, Roseanne is Malasada's best friend. She's okay. I can't say your name anymore, but I hope that's as heart opening for everyone else as it is for me and R. So hopefully this is okay on your shoulder, Anju, but this is my favorite side body massage and shoulder massage. So just gently, imagine you're laying in the warm sand and you're trying to imprint your side body into the sand. You're leaving your mark, way better than Hollywood. Instead of just hand, it's like your whole self, your rib cage, your breath. And so instead of just having 10 fingers, now you have the entire mat to gently press against the feet and the calves, the knees, hips, the rib cage, shoulder, all the way up the arm. And start to reach the top leg behind you just a little bit, but try to be soft in that hip so it doesn't feel intense. And my toes are actually down on the ground, so hopefully your hip's not engaging too much. Reach your right hand in front of you and play a little tug of war between the arm and the leg, reaching the leg back as if it was trying to pull you onto your back, and then reaching the arm forward as if it was trying to pull you onto your belly. And try to feel the connections between the arm into the core and the core down into the leg. And try to move as smoothly as possible until you feel those connections waking up. And if anything feels uncomfortable, you can modify where the bottom arm is. You can bend the knee a little bit. Make sure the low back feels supported here. And the next time the right leg reaches behind you, let it win in slow motion over the span of 3 breaths. Let it pull you onto the back. Let the right arm melt. Let the right shoulder melt. So you land on your back as effortlessly as possible. Let's just pause there for a moment in whatever weird shape you land in. It's okay if it's not symmetrical. Let yourself just be relaxed. And then extend the legs out, stretch through the fingertips, wiggle the fingertips, and start to drag the left heel in now. And we'll do a few of these heel drags. Same sequence on this side, so I'm actually going to sit up so I can watch you guys a little bit better. So you're just dragging the heel in so that you can wake up the foot, starting to massage the plantar fascia. And the next time the leg drags in, press into the foot, letting the hip lift, starting to roll towards the right, but then release, coming back onto the back. Then take your time pressing and releasing, starting to wake up more awareness, starting to color in the space from the foot to the knee to the hip. Anju, try going just a little slower so you can almost feel like the activation rising up slowly from the foot to the knee and then to the, nice. And I find that slower starts to wake up more support and more connections. And give yourself the space to roll even more towards the right. Letting the hips stack, letting the left arm start to lift and peel open, but then roll back onto the back. So you've got that incremental, nice. And then we'll roll all the way onto the side. Pause on your side. I like to bend my knees here, but you can do it however you want. And then just make sure the low back feels okay with how the legs are oriented. Takayo, you might want to bend your bottom knee for more support. Yeah, but do whatever feels good. And then gently roll forward and back, massaging up from foot to calf to knee. And if you find a spot that's particularly interesting, just let your awareness sink in there. You don't necessarily have to focus on the whole side body. And then we'll start to play that tug of war. So extend the top leg long and let it start to reach behind you so that it peels the hip open, allowing you to almost head onto your back. Reach the top arm away from the leg and let it pull you towards your belly. And just play with that tug of war, feeling a sense of opening through the front of the hip, maybe even a little bit of tautness in the belly, feeling a stretch, yet not trying to pull the body apart, rather letting it integrate. And then let the leg win so it pulls you back onto your back. Grab behind thighs and start to rock and roll forward and back. If that doesn't feel good, you can stay upright. If it does feel good, you can take some extra rocks to massage along the erectors, the muscles along the spine. And next time you rock up, pause there. You're welcome to face me if you're here in person and it's hard to see me. You can turn in any direction. Draw the shoulder blades up towards the ears and then gently massage them down the back, but not all the way down, right? You don't want to like yank them down onto the rib cage. Instead, just let them like drip down the rib cage. Let the heart space open and rock the weight from sit bone to sit bone. Come to center. Try to relax through the front of the hips. In fact, I find I need to open that space a little bit more. So plant the hands behind you, reach the knees forward, let the hips lift, feel the front of the hips open, maybe even feel how the glutes are awakening to support you here, and try to keep this sense of opening with the support of the back of the body as you release the hips down. Grab behind the legs once again and just notice if you feel different in this space. And if you don't, take as many of these reverse table pulses as you need. When you do feel supported, you can stay here and exhale to just gently float one leg. And then place it down, and on your next exhale, float the other leg. And this is actually strengthening the deep core. So see if as one leg floats, if you can lengthen up through the spine a little bit more without feeling tension in one place, especially whatever place gets sore when you meditate. Definitely don't feel tension there. That's not allowed. If this feels easy, you're welcome to go for both legs. You're welcome to go hands free. Let's all take a break, hands down, feet down, and our reverse table. This time, isometrically drag the hands back and wide and see if that opens through the shoulders a little bit more. You can anchor the big toes, reach the knees forward and wide, and make sure the front of the neck stays long and strong. Release the hips down, cross the right leg over the left, plant the left hand behind you, reach your right hand high, and then drop it down to flip your tabletop the other direction. Start to paw out your hands a little bit. Walk your hands forward, one handprint, tuck your toes under. And before we find down dog, good idea. If anyone wants a blanket underneath their knees, go for it. Rock your pelvis forward and back. See if you can feel what's happening in your hamstrings as you do this. So as the pelvic bowl tilts forward, the hamstrings lengthen. As the pelvic bowl tilts back, the hamstrings pull down. Let the rocking get smaller and smaller until you find neutral, and start to exhale, draw the abdominals in, squeezing the spine without rounding it. It should feel almost challenging. It should feel like, oh, my spine wants to round and I have to be so strong to like prevent that rounding from happening. Keep that orientation and exhale, just hover the knees and notice how it makes it harder to keep the pelvis neutral. Inhale, set the knees down. Take a few of these on your own. Exhaling to hover, inhaling, setting the knees down, and see if you can keep finding or maintain neutral pelvis, neutral spine. So to next time you exhale and float the knees, push into the hands to reach the hips up and back. Keep a deep bend in the knees, so like a leapfrog, down dog, and try to stay neutral through the pelvis and the spine, just like we practiced. If you want to extend through the legs a little bit, you can, but you don't want to compromise the pelvis here. Nice. If you need to take a break at any time, you can. Nice job, Jamie. That looks really lined up. Let's start to sway the hips from side to side. As the hips sway to the right, let the left hand drag closer to the feet. Hips sway to the left, drag the right hand in. We'll make our way all the way to a forward fold. Bend the knees really, really deeply. Let the spine melt. Head can hang heavy as long as that doesn't feel intense on the neck. And then we're going to incrementally roll up. Anchor the big toes. Rock the weight into the heels. Start to push the pelvis forward and notice how the spine stacks. And then release back down. Next, exhale, push the spine forward. Let the spine stack a little bit more. And then release down. And let's take several repetitions of this to integrate more and more through the back line of the body. Now imagine you're massaging the whole back of the body with this movement. Even though nothing's actually touching the back of the body, your muscles are engaging, rippling up the back line. The next time you roll up, you can pause there. If you want some stillness, you can stay in Tadasana, or you can start to bounce through the heels and just let that vibration travel all the way up the spine, all the way up to the crown of the head. If that feels good, you can even take some jumps. And then hop towards the center of your mat and turn to face me. And then keep turning all the way around. Let your arms be loose. And then turn the other way, all the way around. And we'll meet at center. You can go to the next track of the playlist. Feel free to grab a sip of water. Oh, nice. Roseanne's adding in some extra claps and arm movements. Feel free, if you're feeling it, just keep going with the bounce party. Oh, Mala got excited again. Sorry, Mala. Online stuff's confusing for dogs. Okay. Let's begin by gently shifting the weight from foot to foot and trying to feel how the rest of the body organizes over the foot. See if you can feel the whole body moving in space. And then I'm turning just so you can see this. Send the hips back a little bit more so there's extra weight in the heels. And as you shift, start to stretch one leg out a little bit more. and then shift to the other side and stretch the other leg out. So you're feeling a long line from the crown of the head to that outstretched leg. And even though big muscles are firing to support the leg here, see if you can feel the core also supporting you from the inside, keeping the legs more connected to one another rather than like pulling apart and separating. The next time the foot comes down, pause there, turn the toes open a little bit, take a test squat and make sure that the thigh bones are the same angle as the knees. Most often thigh bones same angle as the feet. Most often people need to turn their feet in a little bit because the thighs aren't as pointed out as the feet are. So make sure as you bend the knees, everything feels good on the inside, the ankles, inside of the knees, and then come up to standing. We're going to wake up a little more buoyancy in our goddess pose. So relax the arms down. Imagine you've got therabands connecting your hands to the floor, so like big rubber bands. As you exhale, slowly reach the arms out and wide, pulling on the therabands, letting the chest broaden. And then inhale, release the arms down. The next time you do this, exhale, press down and wide with the feet and feel the whole body expand. I feel like Da Vinci's Vitruvian Man right now. Maybe that will have to be the cover of this YouTube class. So we'll add the legs in. The next time the arms start to float, slowly bend the knees. And then stay in the squat. Imagine almost like you're at the edge of a pool and you're pushing down into the edge of the pool to pull yourself up. Float a few inches up and then inhale, lengthen. Exhale, push down, reaching up. And then exhale, bend the knees, reach the arms wide. Take a few more on your own, trying to feel your whole body working together to do this. So if you feel too much in one spot, like your arms or your knees, see if you can relax that area and get some help from the rest of the body. And the next time you squat, pause there. We're going to sneak over into Virabhadrasana 2. So turn your right toes out 90 degrees, lift your left heel, turn your left heel out about 15 degrees and anchor the foot down. Allow the arms to float for a moment. Take a couple of breaths here. My arms are getting tired, so I invite you to release the arms down, and if you want to grab those therabands and just take a couple of pulses like that. You can keep bending into the right knee, but try to keep equal weight in both feet. Nice, everybody. The next time the arms float, start to lift the right heel and turn the pelvis towards the short edge of the mat. I find that I need to jump with my, left heel, jump with the left foot so that my hips can square. So try that a couple of times. Hips are relaxed wide, and then you jump and the hips square. And we're doing it a couple of times because I find that sometimes it's tricky for people to know exactly where their hips are. Nice. Awesome. Everyone looks really good here. The next time your hips square towards the side wall, pause there and slowly start to lift that back heel up. As you do that, try to feel energy drawing up the foot all the way to the crown of the head. Nice. Release the heel down. Take a couple of pulses here. Let the front leg start to straighten. The next time the heel lifts, slowly start to hinge forward at the hips, letting the sit bones reach away from one another. We're not going to go further than 90 degrees, so think more about length in the spine. And then press down into the front foot. As you come back up, slowly bend into the back knee. Reach the arms up and feel the length from the back knee all the way up the arms. The more the knee reaches down, the more you can reach up with the arms. And then we'll go back into that forward fold. So legs straighten, back heel stays up. Sweep the arms forward and slowly hinge forward at the hips, letting the whole back line lengthen, letting the sits bones reach apart to stimulate the deep core. Take a few pulses between the lunge and the forward fold. If you want to pause in either of those movements, you can. And see if you can let the pelvis lead the way, just letting the spine follow. The next time the knee dips, stay low, turn the feet forward towards me, and then all the way to the other side. So the left toes turn out 90 degrees, right heel just about 15 degrees, and reach all the way up and over to the left. I always find that doing all that work on the right side feels really good to stretch it out after. And then straighten the left leg. Turn the toes forward, bend the knees to melt forward. Hands can come to the legs, feet, floor. Try to feel long through the whole back of the body, connected through the neck. And then just like we practiced before, anchor big toes, weight in heels, press the hips forward, slow roll up, coloring in the space from the feet to the crown of the head with your movement. At the top, let the shoulders circle up and back, and pause for a moment here. With your next exhale, float the arms to T. Bring the heels in, toes out, slowly start to squat, and then exhale, press down into the hands to float up just a couple inches, and inhale to squat. Because this is our second round, you might feel like you have more space, so feel free to walk the feet further apart. Just make sure there's a sense of the sits bones staying connected to one another and not like a spreading out or pulling apart of the core or the adductors. Feel how weightless you can be here. The next time you're in the squat, pause there. Imagine you're getting out of the pool. Start to push down into the edges of the pool and feel how as you come out just a couple of inches, the thighs draw together. There's more space and strength along the spine. Breathe into that. Everyone looks amazing. And then we'll sneak over to Virabhadrasana 2 on the left side. So right heel lifts, right toes turn in, left heel lifts, left toes turn out. Pause in your Virabhadrasana 2, relax the arms down if you want, or do anything with your arms that feels good. Equal weight in both feet, and then just gently bend into the knee, but let the knee track really wide towards the toe that's next to the pinky toe. And just notice how that awakens a little more support in the glutes. Take a breath here. Oh, Rebecca just heated up. Good. Lift the right heel, and we're going to play with shifting the hips towards the short edge of the mat and then opening them back up and just getting used to those two different orientations from Virabhadrasana 2 to more of a Virabhadrasana 1 stance. I find in the level 1 trainings that always gets confusing, so I want to take that extra time to feel how different the hips are. They're almost like counter poses for one another. Nice. The next time the hips close, pause there. And it is okay to face me if you're facing the wall and you want to see what's going on, that's okay. Start to lift and lower the back heel. Slow motion. When the back heel lifts, it actually engages a deep core muscle called the soleus that's deep in the calf. So maybe you can feel that strength drawing up the deep calf all the way up the thigh, all the way up the spine. The next time the heel lifts, you can start to straighten through the front leg and exhale, slowly hinge forward. I like hands at hips in this first round so you can really feel your pelvis tilting. Come out of it a little bit and take a few pelvic tilts, keeping the spine neutral. And so as the pelvis rocks forward, instead of arching the low back, the spine just follows. The next time you come up, reach the arms up and slowly bend into the back knee, staying neutral through the spine. Make sure you don't feel too much pressure in the front of that right knee. And then straighten the legs. Sweep the arms back this time as you hinge forward into our modified Parsvottanasana, staying long through the spine, letting the sits bones open. And now you can pulse with your breath. I like exhaling into the lunge because there's a sense of integration there, and then inhaling into the forward fold where I feel like almost like floating, but whatever feels best for you is great. The next time you dip into the lunge, pivot towards me, bend both knees, melt forward into Prasarita Padottanasana. Deep bend in the knees. If you want to shift weight from foot to foot, you can, or you can just enjoy stillness. Anchor big toes, rock weight and heels, send pelvis forward to roll up, either going into a shoulder circle or letting the arms circle if that feels inviting to the body. All right, we're going to go through some of those elements one more time, a little bit faster where we're not repeating the pulses, and we'll add in an option as we go from one side to the other. Instead of pausing in Virabhadrasana 2, we can pause all the way in Urdhva Chandrasana. I'll say it one more time for it. If there's anything else that you want to play with, like moving as smoothly as possible through all the elements now that you know them, that can be a fun focal point. You can go to the next musical track, grab a sip of water. We'll meet in our straddle, whatever feels comfortable for you. Let the toes turn out. Let the, I don't think this is my updated playlist. Maybe go to the previous track just so it's a little more upbeat. Sorry, playlist issues. Enter the squat, float the arms. Take one push out of the pool moment just to integrate everything. And then let yourself lower into goddess while still staying integrated. Turn the feet into your Virabhadrasana 2. And then keep turning towards the side. You can stay long in the lunge and straighten the front leg, or you can shorten the stance if that feels more comfortable. Up to you. Let's slowly hinge forward, sweep the arms back. And then as you float up, bend through the back knee. If the legs feel up for it, the leg can lower all the way to the floor. Let's take one more of those, just playing with all the strength you've awoken in your core and your legs. And the next time you're in the lunge, hover the knee, turn the feet all the way to the other side, bend the left knee, reach long. Can stay in Utthita Parshvakonasana, or you can shift the weight into the left foot. Keep reaching towards the side, but let the right leg hover. I really enjoy floating the left arm back here. You're welcome to try that. Stay here as long as you want, or lower the leg whenever you feel like it. Let's all lower the leg, turn the feet, bend the knees, melt into Prasarita Padottanasana. And then slowly roll up. Do whatever you want with the arms. And we'll go to the other side. So heels in, toes out, arms wide. Push out of the pool. Feel everything drawing towards center. And then keep that centered strength as you drop the sits bones just a little bit, expanding outward. Now toes turn over to the left. And then lift the right heel. Keep turning towards the lunge. You can stay in this long stance, straightening the front leg, or inch the back foot forward any amount that you want to. Just make sure the hips are squared towards the short edge of the mat. Reach arms back, hinge forward. And then float back up, arms overhead, dip the back knee. Option to lower it all the way down, but only if that feels good. Take a couple of those hinges and dips, or hold one of those poses if it feels like your body needs it. Try to stay as long as possible through the spine. Make sure the neck feels supported. The next time the knee is down, hover it, turn the feet all the way over to the other side, anchoring into the left heel, letting the whole left side of the body get super long. Stay in Utthita Parshvakonasana or shift the weight and let the left side of the body keep lengthening as you take flight. Option to float the right arm back alongside the body here. Find your drishti, steady gaze. Make sure you're not building tension, so that might mean coming up a little, letting the foot lower a little. Make sure you're breathing. And then whenever you're ready to release the foot, do so. Turn both feet towards me, bend the knees, and melt forward. Hands come wherever is comfortable. Just gently shift the weight into one foot, letting the body sway in that direction, and then push into that same foot so you can sway the opposite direction, bending into the opposite knee. Just let any tension release through the back of the body. And then lower the hands to the floor. Bring the knees down. You can keep facing me, or if you want to be more on your mat, you can turn to the side. Totally up to you. I'll go 3/4 so you can see me best. Reach both legs back to plank. Bring the left knee in and swivel the shin, and then start to press the hips back towards the earth, but don't lower them all the way. Start to draw some big circles with the hips so that you stay strong and integrated in your pigeon pose. And I like to not swivel my knee very much just so it feels more supported here. And then if it feels comfortable, you can lower the back knee, flatten the top of the back foot, and slowly lower onto the forearms. If your musical device is really close, this would be a great time to go to the 4th track, which is more chill, but if it's not close, you can just relax in your mind. Bring your thumbs to your third eye. Bring your palms together in prayer and just let the gentle weight of your head rest on the thumbs. If it feels good, you can gently isometrically drag the thumbs up towards the hairline, just creating space in the forehead. Just take a couple of breaths. And push down into the forearms, push down into the hands, tuck the back toes, lift the hips, and step back into plank, switching sides. So now right knee comes forward. Swivel the shin without touching the leg, so you only use your muscles. Start to press your hips back to the ground, and then push down into the front shin, hovering the hips, and just take a couple of pulses here, trying to avoid that tendency of going into a super deep stretch, but instead feeling integrated and buoyant, just like we practiced in all of our poses today. The next time the hips come down a little bit, you can circle side to side, almost as if you were hula hooping. And this just helps us explore space and connection from all angles instead of just going in the same pattern that we always stretch. And then lower the back knee. Slowly lower the forearms, bring the palms together. Keep a little downward pressure with the front shin so that front glute stays fired, not in an intense way, but just so you feel light through the pelvis. Then bring the third eye to the thumbs. On this second side, if you want to allow the thumbs to split and glide along the eye socket a little bit, you can. There can be really nice pressure points along there. And then push down into the forearms, push down into the hands, tuck the back toes, lift the back knee, step back into plank. Bend the knees, press all the way back to down dog for just one moment to feel really spacious and spread out. And then lower the knees, lower the hips, and sit back onto your heels. Take a couple of last shoulder circles and then let the hands be stiff, almost like you have mittens on. Bring your fingertips to your traps. Lift your elbows high and dig the fingertips into the traps. That's the juicy muscle right where the hands are. Slowly drag the elbows down just to draw the fingers over the traps. If that feels good, you can do a couple of those. And you can also go a little wider with the hands to get different parts of the traps. And the next time the fingertips drag down, just let one ear drop towards the shoulder. Take the opposite hand and grab onto your ankle. Take a breath through the right side. And then bring the head to center. Grab your ankle with your left hand and let the right ear drop. Take a couple of breaths. Try not to be too intense here. If the heel's too far, you can always just grab onto the edge of the yoga mat just for a little extra weight in the hand, even if it doesn't keep your hand anchored. And then let the left sit bone get heavy, pulling you back to center. Head stacks. You can hit play on your music. Oh, I mean the opposite of play. Unplay. Pause your music, sit over to one side, extend your legs out, and grab your blanket. If there's any certain way you like to set up your blanket for Shavasana, go for it. Otherwise, you can roll it underneath the backs of the knees. And just let the body melt down onto the earth. Feel the pelvis land, and then the rib cage, and then the skull. And we started in a similar position, trying to wake up more awareness, more sensation. As we rest here now, notice if you feel more aware. What's going on in the space between your skin. And tune into your breath, just noticing how fluid and effortless it is. And then keeping gentle attention on your natural breath. And start to let go of the physical body. Letting the breath support you and expand your awareness. And we'll rest here for the next 10 minutes. Observe your next few breaths. And let the sensation of the breath massage you from the inside out. And start to make gentle, waking movements, whatever would feel inviting to the body. And eventually begin making your way up to seated, but take your time and enjoy the pathway there. And when you eventually make it to upright, find a comfortable supported seat. And just notice any awareness you have of your pelvis, your spine, and the support system that interweaves the legs into the pelvis and the core. And thank you so much for practicing. Namaste. That's the end of our hour. If you've got to go, you can go. If you'd like to stick around, we will meditate together. But I only advertise the first hour, so don't feel bad if you have to go. If you'd like to stay, make sure you have a comfortable way to sit. Grab any props you might need. Take care. See you soon, Natarjani. You can always grab chairs, whatever helps this process be as supportive as possible. And once you've found your seat, just notice any awakened support that allows you to be here as effortlessly as possible. The most advanced posture of yoga. And trust that that support system will be there even if you don't think about it or feed energy into it. Let all the focus start to drop into the breath. And feel the rhythm of the breath, this gentle, flowing pulsation. And let the breath start to massage your heart center, the center of the chest. Let the breath be natural. And so there's nothing forceful happening, yet there's still subtle power to it. And just like the pressure we applied with our fingertips or with the floor, feel the gentle pressure of the breath interacting with the heart space. You can breathe towards the front of the heart, the back of the heart, the sides, and the top and the bottom. And let each breath help you resonate with the spaciousness of the heart. You don't have to stretch anything. It's already spacious. The breath just helps you drop into that experience and reveal it more and more. As you exhale, though, the physical body softens and gets a little smaller. Try to feel how you can relax into that spacious part of yourself even more as you exhale. And you're welcome to continue keeping all your focus on the breath and the heart. You're also welcome to join a mantra to the heart, letting the vibration of the mantra also massage the heart space. I usually recommend our lineage mantra, Om Namah Shivaya. And just like the breath is a subtler step beyond the physical massaging with the hands, the mantra is subtler yet. So you have to get a little quieter, let the attention drop a little deeper, but the vibrations are there even if the mantra is silent. night in satsang, Babaji was talking about how we really have to leave behind all of our tension, anything that contracts us when we step into the space of meditation. And so I invite you to let everything go for the next few minutes. Being persistent with bringing your highest self to this practice, breath by breath. And he talked about how joyful that experience can be. And so let each breath be an opportunity to leave everything behind and experience the delight of your true nature. And let a sense of joy vibrate through all of your cells. And we can close with hands at heart center. Just feel that integration between physical body, energetic body, and the heart. And gently open the eyes if you've shut them and see if you can still feel the joy in your cells as you come into contact with the space around you. Take a couple more conscious breaths. And thank you so much for practicing. Namaste. Nanda Devi, I didn't know you were here. Thanks for sharing your video so I can say hi. It's wonderful to see you. Thanks for sharing this practice. Take care, everybody. Have a great week. Reach out if you have any questions. I get to see a bunch of you soon, so looking forward to that. Aloha. Steffi, the sunshine found you.